Hi there, folks. This is Sean Brodrick for the Oxford Club. I'm in California, and I'm speaking to Stephen Wilkinson. He's the CEO of WPC Resources. Very interesting company. They have an old mine called the Lupin Mine, which is up in Nunavut, up north in Canada. A very high-grade, rich mine that was closed down for other reasons, and now with the price of gold going higher, these guys have a plan. And so Stephen is going to tell you guys what his plan is. Please speak to my subscribers.
Well, thank you, Sean. Yes, we very recently acquired the rights to the Lupin gold mine. It's what I refer to quite often as a fine old lady in the mining industry.
Mm-hmm.
It was the anchor property for Echo Bay Mines in the 1980s and 1990s. Produced 3.2 million ounces, that's 104 tons of gold,
mm-hmm.
over its life at a grade of about 9 grams per ton. The mine shut down in 2005 when gold prices had not recovered enough for them to actually make profit. They were trading dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And it was shut down with the intention of being reopened. And the company at that time that had it was Kinross. And it was a very difficult mine to operate in the sense that it is in the far north of Canada. Our next door neighbor is Santa Claus. So it's, we're well up there. If you go much further, you basically fall off the edge of the earth.
Right.
But we were attracted to it because of an old schoolmate of mine from 40 years ago came in, had acquired 8,000 hectares of greenstone belt, the volcanic belt, which hosted a couple of dozen high-grade occurrences,
mm-hmm.
and it butted up against a developing mine called the Ulu. And the Ulu deposit was a very high-grade, small deposit that was developed as a satellite to Lupin.
Mm-hmm.
And through quite serendipitously, I ran into the company president that controlled the Ulu, asked him what he wanted to do with it. His response is, "Would you like to buy it?" And I said, "Okay." So we signed an agreement for the Ulu. 2 weeks later, the company that he worked for, Elgin Mining, was bought by a very good up-and-coming mining group called Mandalay Resources.
Mm-hmm.
And Mandalay did not want the parent mine, Lupin.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted Elgin's producing gold mine in Sweden, and they thought if they could sell the Lupin, they would lower their acquisition costs and look like heroes in the market. They already were. And in any case, nobody came to offer anything to them. We took and made an offer that was ridiculously low. They scratched their heads for a couple of moments, came back with a counter, which was not much more,
uh-huh.
And we accepted the counter offer. So
now the grades you have in the Lupin are like 11 grams per ton, right?
Exactly.
Like rich grades.
Very unusually rich mine, and that's characteristic of this type of geology. It's very much like the things like the Red Lake mine that Goldcorp operated for years. It's not quite as rich as that one, which is 30, 40 grams a ton easily.
Mm-hmm.
But at 11 consistently, this is a very unusual mine.
Right, and also we should mention you have so much infrastructure there. You have a mill there. You
Yes.
have housing for people. You have plenty of fuel on the property.
Mm-hmm.
It's an underground mine, so everything's pretty much protected from the elements.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so there's actually a lot of great stuff that you picked up for pennies on the dollar.
Yes,
Isn't that right?
That's right. For the $5.6 million in acquisition cost, we have an infrastructure that was insured 5 years ago for a replacement at $400 million.
Wow.
And that's the mill, the residences, as you said, the fuel, the storage, the track inventory, the inventory of supplies, a mile-long landing strip where 727s were landing on a scheduled service when the mine was in operation. This was a very significant mine. It's probably, in terms of its grade and output, is clearly, by world standards, in the top 10%.
So if the company that previously owned it had been a little more patient or a little more flexible in their mine plan, then they could have actually kept it running. Right?
They could have kept it running. In fact, if Kinross had been patient and had a temporary shutdown for 6 to 12 months, they probably would still be running it today, I think.
Okay. Well, now you still have lots of work that you have to do.
Yes.
But it's actually not that much. I mean, the thing's fully permitted, right?
Yes, it is.
And so you just have to raise some money, go through the hoops, and then you can actually start producing gold from there, right?
Exactly. The total price tag our engineers have put on it from acquisition to gold pouring is $20 million Canadian. It's less than 16 million US.
Now I'd like to mention the Easter egg, which is that once you take over the mine, you actually get a big chunk of cash. Isn't that right?
Well, that's the funny part about it. Because we're buying the company that owns the facility, the company has on its balance sheet a restricted cash account for $25.5 million. And that's the environmental bonding, the remediation bond.
Right.
The bond is owned by the company. It's when the company that owned it prior to us bought the asset, they actually had to fund to replace that bond.
Mm-hmm.
We convinced Mandalay that they should leave the bond in place because it's a sunk cost. And if they wanted to tear the mine down, they'd have to use all that money and years of their time to get it.
Right. Well, that's amazing. So for a little over $5 million, you get the whole mine, plus you get $25 million in the bank once everything works. I need to bring you next time I go car shopping. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So once the mine, assuming you can get that into production, because things can go wrong, but assuming things don't go wrong.
Yes.
How much production will there be and stuff?
Well, our models that we're working on for the resource that's there, we're only looking at the first 300,000 ounces of production. Out of that, our margins right now are almost 100%.
So you'll use the cash flow from that to do more drilling and just build up the resource again, so you can then do that.
Well, will there be enough capital generated in the first 2.5 years of operation, not only pay back the invested capital, explore and develop new ounces, but also it should be enough for us to build the new mine at Ulu and have distributable cash on top. So we're looking at every year having net operating profit in the order of $60 to $80 million.
And assuming you find more gold there, and it's a very prospective area, then you can keep on going.
We can keep on going.
Well, that is just fascinating. Is there anything else you would like to mention, or else have we pretty much covered it?
Well, the only thing that's really sort of important for people to remember is that we are coming off one of the most protracted metal depressions. Metal prices and operating costs, investment dollars. This has been an investment depression. That assets like this are available, rarely, but they still are a little bit available, and we were fortunate enough to be in the right room at the right time to get it.
Well, it's a good thing you made this deal last year, right? Because if you were making it now, with gold at the price it is, they would have said no, probably.
Well, this would probably be another $70 million acquisition cost.
Yeah, right.
Minimum.
Wow. Well, that's just fascinating. Thanks for sharing your story with us. I hope you folks are enjoying these videos, because some of the stuff just blows my mind. The deals that smart people like you are able to make, that is just amazing. Again, early stage, things can go wrong, but then again, things can go right. So certainly this is one we'll be looking at in more depth. Thank you very much for speaking to my subscribers.
Yeah.
You folks, thanks very much for tuning in, and have a great day. This is Sean Brodrick from California.
Thank you very much.